Hello and welcome. It's Amanda here. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me for Inspirational Shorts. Now, if this is your first time here, then I am a mixed media artist and I work with a range of supplies, tools, materials, and I bring them all together or couples together and I create art. Anyway, so today we're going to be reviewing a book. I love art books. They're almost like going to a workshop but in your own home. And you know, it's and obviously without the other people, but what you could do is join together with a few other people and do something online where you come together and you work through, you know, particular books, particular techniques and things like that. So that's a great way, especially in these times where, you know, you're having to keep your distance. If you have been here before, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's get started. Well, hello and welcome. Today we will be looking at this book. It's called Creative Paint Workshop for Mixed Media Artists, and it is by Anne Baldwin. So this book, it says experimental techniques for composition, layering, texture, imagery and encaustic. Now I really like this book because it has it uses a variety of different mediums and techniques, and it's always great as a mixed media artist or any artist really to find additional techniques that you can incorporate into your work. So at the back of the book it says, whether you have formal training in painting or no experience at all, this workshop style book is the perfect guide for any artist interested in integrating the medium of paint into other types of artwork such as surface design, mixed media collage, altered art or art journaling. Creative Paint Workshop for Mixed Media Artists explores a wide variety of innovative and experimental paint techniques that can add stunning visual impact and texture to many types of work. Develop your sense of composition, experiment with texture effects, learn how to use the latest new products, see how to use digital imagery, be inspired by the work of a wide variety of cutting-edge mixed media artists and experimental painters. Now, if you want to experiment, then this is a book. This is one of the ones I think you should buy. It's produced by Quarry Books. I'm not even sure if they're still around. As I say, I brought this book quite a while ago, and it was produced in 2009, and I must have got it, I think I started my mixed media journey maybe 2009, 10, 11. Yeah, so we're going back, but it's still a great book, and there would have been books, you know, obviously produced since, but this, I found it a really nice book to use. It's like spiral bound, different from, you know, some of the other books that you get in the center, and then it's got it's hardcover. So let's have a look at some of the chapters in the book. I like the size as well, and as it says, you know, workshop style book. She has 9 chapters in the book, contributing artists, a list of resources, and then the introduction, really just to kind of get you into the mood of things, you know, how you get started, looking at some of the paper and canvas that you might use, some of the other materials, and she goes through them in quite a lot of detail. She uses golden paints, but you can experiment with other. I don't actually use golden paints. But there's a wide range of different supplies and tools that you can get. Throughout the book, it's filled with, you know, examples of her artwork, and it's good that she not only tells you the technique, but she shows you where she's used the technique in her work. And in some of the areas, like, okay, we'll look at how to compose. She actually goes from start to finish, and I'll find start to finish and how she applies that particular technique. And then she has a range of art, as you can see throughout, where she can explain how she did it, you know, how she looked at that particular technique and worked through. And then gives you, you know, other tips and hints that you can use. So as I say, yeah, there's 9 chapters. She talks about approaches, where to begin, composition, and like, no, these are three different ones. But as I say, she's picked up where she's used a particular technique and how it's worked to create that piece of art. There is, as I say, a section in here where she actually does step by step, and there are several projects within the book itself. So like this particular one, this is how it starts off, and she shows you what she's done, how she's brought it together, and then you've got the finished piece, the collage, and then you can work through, you know, with your own piece and apply the techniques that she has done. I do like a lot of texture in my artwork, and then she also goes through all the different types of things you can use to create texture. And remember, this is just a small sample of the things that you can add to make texture. You can use paint, and she does, you know, different mediums, using mark making to create texture, using layering to create texture, bubble wrap pressed into paint. A lot of us have, you know, used it. This is cheesecloth. I'm just thinking burlap, I could use burlap. But yeah, you know, and then adding texture to the piece using physical, you know, laying on, embellishing, scraping off, adding cardboard. And as I say, there are a variety of projects that you can also then try out yourself, and that's really good in an art book. It's not just, you know, here's some supplies, this is what I've done with it, and here's some of my work, but she'll actually take you through a particular project, which I think it's really good, because it you actually learn, you know, you learn how to incorporate things if you're not familiar yourself. When I was going through this, I was thinking, oh, I do that, yeah, oh yeah, she's used it like that, is she? Oh, I do it like this. But I really do like the colours that she uses in her work. There is a kind of, you know, a theme running through her work. Stenciling. This also brought back things that I used to use. Like I used to use stencils a lot. I've got loads of stencils in my stencil stamps, inks, that I just thought, oh, let me bring them out again. I used to do a lot of collage as well. And yeah, I thought, oh, yeah, let me just look at that again. Encaustic. Now, I've used wax in some of the work that I do. And so it was interesting to kind of get a greater understanding of using encaustic medium, the wax medium, and working with encaustic materials. And whilst I don't have all of the supplies, I've shown you how I use the wax using an oil burner and painting the wax on to either fabric, card, or whatever it is. But it was interesting just to see in terms of, you know, maybe I might go and get some encaustic, the crystals, and just see how different it is from what I'm doing now. I've got oil bars, but yeah, just to see how it looks for myself. So, as I say, she's got examples of her work throughout, and it's interesting to see, this is where I'd got up to, how she works, and then she's given you a step-by-step. If you are not familiar with encaustic work, then you can, you know, maybe substitute some of the things, but you can do a step-by-step. She's done this step-by-step painting that you can recreate if you wanted to. Using digital photography, if you're interested in doing that, you can also, you know, you don't even have to you know, print these off yourself. You can use magazines, you know, the newspaper. You can transfer, you know, the images from onto your page, as opposed to, you know, just sticking it on. And it'll come to me when I finish this. So incorporating photographs in your paintings, and so it gives you a really wide range of examples that you can use in your work, and I think it's great. I will be leaving the link to this book in the description. I'll also be sharing on my Amazon store. What I do is I share either products that I've used, and I'll list this as well, list the book as well. So this is a gallery of special projects where she's incorporated the work of other artists, and it's always great to see how other artists have created pieces, and it gives you a description of how they've done it, so you can maybe do that as well. Okay, so that is the book, and at the back where they tell you about the artist as well, tell you a bit more about the artist. But it's interesting, again, as I say, to and they talk about the other contributing artists as well, and resources depending on where you are. But as I said, you know, it was printed in 2009, so some of these stores at the back, well, Michael's, you know, still going, Home Depot, Dick Blick, Art Materials. Yeah, so I'll leave links and to some of these golden artists, and you'll be able to, you know, check them out yourself and see if there's any supplies or tools that you may want to get to do some projects in this book. So I hope that's been useful. If you want to see, I was thinking about maybe I'll do a project from this book. We'll see. And yeah, I'll definitely leave a link to that when I've done it. And I can show you examples of textures and things like that, and collages that I've done. Actually, I do feel like doing a collage, so that might be something that I do. So there it is, Creative Paint Workshop book. It says for mixed media artists, but you don't have to be a mixed media artist to do it. I think you should definitely try incorporating other elements in your work, you know, if you want, if you feel like it, and check it out. So I hope that's been informative. Take care for now. Remember, if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, please do. Please hit that notification bell, and I will see you next week with another book review.